Hello, Internet. I'm Corione, your witch in residence here on YouTube. And today we're going to once again discuss queer movies you might not have tried. Now, I am not saying that all of these movies are going to be your favorite. I am saying that they are approachable to everybody and that I think that they are worth at the very least taking a look at. Now, with that in mind, I just wanted to say thank you to all those people who have chosen to subscribe and like my videos. If you could please also, consider checking out my memberships on my YouTube channel. They give you access to exclusive content and special emojis. As well, you'll get a say in how this channel moves forward, which I would hope you would avail yourselves of. Now, it's very easy and very straightforward and cheap to start and comes with access to the back issues of transmissions from the Rogue Council. So please check it out. Now, with that obligatory ritual out of the way, let's talk about 3 to Tango. Now, 3 to Tango stars the very cute Matthew Perry when he was actually still cute, and the very cute Neve Campbell, who, no, she's still cute. Um, as well as Dylan McDermott and Oliver Platt. Now, the basic premise of the movie is fairly convoluted, but like all good comedies, the comedy comes from the convolution. Matthew Perry is an architect that is working with Oliver Platt, and the two of them, in order to get a job, convince Dylan McDermott that Matthew Perry is also gay, and it's a gay architectural firm in the 90s, which is a big deal at that time. Now, Dylan McDermott's character thinks that since Matthew Perry is gay and therefore safe, he can move his mistress, played by Neve Campbell, into Matthew Perry's apartment. Now, what leads down that road is because, of course, the misunderstanding that Matt is gay, but not actually gay. It leads to a whole lot of hilarity and misunderstanding, but also a lot of really good moments of exploring what it means to be a gay man at that time period. So you learn a little bit throughout the pure comedy of the situation and the goofy adventures and all the craziness up to and including getting a tuna melt in New York City, which, for the record, if you're having lived in New York, I can safely say don't get a tuna melt in New York City. There's much better food there. Now, um, this all comes to a head, if you will, when Matthew Perry is forced to see things from a gay perspective and realize that this isn't just a suit you put on to get a job or a political message. This is a way of life, and there are a lot of people involved who are deeply connected to that. And he gets to see how his friends react and how the world reacts to him differently. So throughout the humor, throughout the, you know, Nev calling him into the bathroom to hang out and chat with him while she's in a very, very sexy tub, shaving her legs, it can lead to a lot of humor and a lot of weird situations, up to and including Nev Campbell trying to set him up on a date with one of his football heroes. So there's a lot of great moments in here and a lot of genuine, heartfelt, emotional pieces to it too. And to me, this really connected with the queer experience because this is what somebody goes through when they're coming out and trying to come to terms with everything. As well, it also really connects to being the straight friend experience because you get to see all these changes in a person's life and you want to help them deal with it because they're your friend. And you want to understand it because they're your friend and you want to be understanding. But it's a challenge and it's difficult. And in a lot of ways, it's genuine and wonderful and lovely. And it has possibly one of my favorite lines of all time, which gets used around here a lot when talking about queer political situations, which is, you have made your gay bed and now you must gaily lounge in it, which I think is probably one of the best lines I've ever heard ever. So, guys, I would really recommend checking it out. I think you'll get a lot out of it. I think you'll have a lot of fun and laugh your way through it. Comedy, I think, is the best way to build that communication gap because when things are funny, when they're when it's all couched in the shared experience of laughter at bizarre situations, they can bring us together. And right now, I think the most important thing we can do is come together as friends. We don't all have to be the same. We don't all have to walk a mile in somebody's very gay loafers to understand them. We just have to have compassion as human beings and, see that, a lot of people's experiences are what we experience and be okay with that. And, we can learn from the hilarity of the situation. And I think that's a lesson worth learning because it's fun and it's funny. And we should all be enjoying and laughing together because, let's be honest, the world can be a dark and ugly and terrible place. And we don't need to push political nonsense on it to make matters worse when we can just have fun with the situation and laugh and find humor in people's discomfort at situations that they don't quite understand but want to. And I think that can be a wonderful piece. And I think having Oliver Platt, who plays a gay man fantastically well on screen, be his friend and his mentor and the guy who's kind of helping him travel the rainbow colored waters, if you will, is fantastic. But having you know some of the other characters involved within his friends group not being able to understand why he's treading these waters at all to also be hilarious. Now, all good writing is based on, previous great works in some manner or another, right? Plato said there were only 51 stories in existence. I tend to think that number's a little light, but the point remains that almost all work is derivative of something else. This heavily draws from Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, which in and of itself is a great comedy. And if you get the chance to see it on the stage and you don't mind a little bit of ye old English, is a fantastic experience to have as well. So I do recommend trying that too. But I can understand why you wouldn't want to jump right into Twelfth Night. This is a good 90s bridging, if you will, between modern day, the 90s, and Twelfth Night. And look, we all know the 90s is one of the high points of movie culture. This went toe to toe with some of the biggest movies out at the time and got completely destroyed. So it is really underrated. Um, I mean, you can pick it up on Amazon Prime for something like $5 Canadian, or even Google for like $5 Canadian. It's really, really cheap. And it's a fun movie. It's a great date night movie because there's comedy, there's humor, but there's also some sensitive and some genuine and caring moments. Sadly, there are no spaceships, there are no aliens, there's no magic, other than the magic of human connection, which to me is one of the most basic and important and vital magics ever to exist in the world. So consider watching this. Get a friend, ideally a partner, to sit down with you and watch it and make yourself a big bag of popcorn and just laugh because you're in for a fun ride, a silly ride, a very, very goofy ride. And I don't normally want to throw homework at you guys for these segments, but I'm going to ask that in the comments, post your favorite scenes. Okay. It could be funny to see where everyone got a good laugh out of this movie. I'll be honest with you, my favorite scenes are Matthew Perry on the bus, um, Nev Campbell and Matthew Perry in the diner, um, with Matthew Perry considering committing suicide by tuna melt. Um, and probably the one of my favorite moments is him on the date with his football hero who happens to be gay and happens to be Nev Campbell's character's best friend. So consider checking this out. I'm Corion, your witch in residence. And I want to say to those who celebrate Happy Pride, to those that don't, be grateful to the universe that you don't have to. And all in all, guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again.